year that has passed, the 11th year at National Action Network. It has once again been a tremendous year, a enormously successful year for Legal Night, and none of that would be possible without the participation of all of you, which is why we do Legal Night, and then of course the attorneys who give of their time freely to make this whole process of Legal Night an enormous success for all of you who participate. And so again, we thank all of you and all of the lawyers, some of whom we will be introducing shortly. Legal Night always happens in three parts. The first part are the presentations, and tonight we will be pleased to have a presentation from Attorney Carmen Giordano. He'll be speaking about employment, the vaccine, and reasonable accommodations, a very hot issue that is happening right now, and we're going to be excited to hear from Carmen in just a little bit. Carmen Jack Giordano, I should say. We're going to be happy to hear from Carmen. And we always also remind everybody here at National Action Network, in addition to Legal Night, which happens on the last Thursday of every month, every Monday here at National Action Network, we have the Youth Huddle, which is led by the founder of Youth Huddle, which is our dear sister, Ashley Sharpton. And Ashley is also our virtual maestro here at National Action Network and helps us to facilitate being able to bring a Legal Night to all of you. And the Youth Huddle happens each and every Monday here at National Action Network, right here at 106 West 145th Street from 6 to 8:30 p.m. They serve dinner, and you can always reach out for information regarding the Youth Huddle at nanYouthHuddle@gmail.com, and that's NAN youth spelled out, huddle spelled out at gmail.com. And of course, you can always go to our website at www.nationalactionnetwork.net to get any additional information that you may need. Also, by way of announcements, I'm sure many of you know, and hopefully we will be seeing many of you because National Action Network. All right, National Action Network will be hosting our 30th anniversary at Carnegie Hall on this coming Monday, November 1st. There's a great slew of presentations that will be made, and among those that we will be honoring is Harlem's own infamous and cherished leader of the NAACP, and that is the Honorable Hazel Dukes. They will also be honoring Lorne Michaels of Saturday Night Live, Marva Smalls of Viacom and BET, along with Terrence Blanchard, who's the Black composer that will have one of the first operas at the Metropolitan Met. It's going to be a very, very special night. And as many of you may have heard, the Vice President of the United States will be joining National Action Network on the evening that it celebrates its 30th anniversary. We will also be celebrating the belated birthday of our president and founder, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. So hopefully we will see many of you there. It is a very popular program. And so hopefully you registered. Hopefully you were among those that got tickets for Monday night, and we will hopefully see you there. Also want to continue to remind everybody that as we go through a lot of things here at the nation, at the core of things is trying to always move things forward. And many of the civil rights groups and National Action Network among them has been very, very involved in trying to push the United States Congress to pass voting rights legislation. which included the Freedom to Vote Act and also the John Lewis Restoration Voting Rights Advancement Act. And the Freedom to Vote Act would do many, many things in terms of voting, including creating an automatic voter registration system and same-day voting, among a number of other significant protections that need to be there for voters to have full and unfettered access to the polls. And of course, the John Lewis Voting Advancement Act would, among other things, fully restore the Voting Rights Act that was gutted in 2013 in the Supreme Court, Shelby versus Holder. And that was a significant moment in our history. I mean, sometimes we take for granted what happened in 1965 when the Voting Rights Act was passed in this nation. And again, we can never, ever, ever take voting for granted. If you just think about it for a second, there may be someone in your family that shed blood in this nation to get the right to vote for every citizen of this nation. And it was a hard fought right. It was not taken, it was not given freely, and it certainly was not given without the huge sacrifice and the blood sacrifice of so many, including many of our own ancestors and people who put themselves on the line to make America a more perfect union. And it'll never be perfect, but we have to always continue to fight to make it a more perfect union. And the right to vote and the voter protections that come with that right have to constantly be strengthened so that we continue to have a healthy democracy that allows people to participate, because we see what can happen when things don't exactly happen that way. And we go backwards. And many times we get frustrated. And a lot of people will say, well, I don't see why we need to vote. It doesn't do anything. But when you really stop and think about that, you'll know how wrong that is. Voting does a lot. And most everything that you may be involved in or that you may be trying to do, whether it's going to the bank or sometimes just plain old going shopping, your vote makes an impact on what is happening both in the business world, in the education world, in all the different worlds you may encounter, again, whether it's at home, whether it's at school, or whether it's at your business. And so voting is very important. I'm sure many of you are aware that right now they're selecting the jury in the murder of Ahmaud Arbery down in New Brunswick, Georgia. And they're in the process of that trial getting ready to get started. And he was lynched by a group of men who saw a Black man jogging in the neighborhood, who stopped to look at a house that was under construction, and they killed him just for that. Tracked him like he was a dog and killed him. And that's one of the reasons why, among the many fights that we are having, is the fight to pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act that is also in front of the US Congress, and that people are fighting to get passed. We know we've not had success on that level yet. And we know that recently it was announced that the senators who were engaged in that process have stopped for now, but that doesn't mean that we give up or stop the push to make the Floyd Justice and Policing Act a reality. We have to keep the fight on that. And then, of course, for most people across the nation, in many cities and many states, Tuesday coming up, November 2nd, is an election day in your own community. And so please make sure, if you have an election happening in your community, that you get out and vote. In many places, there is early voting period, and that voting period is actively happening right now. So you don't have to wait until next Tuesday to go vote. You can see what the rules are in your community and go out and do early voting. So with all of that said, let's turn our attention to tonight's legal night. And once again, as I said earlier, we do legal night in three parts. The first part is the presentation. The second part is your part of the program where you get to ask your questions and make your comments and participate fully. And then the third part, generally when we're live, we reserve that so that there can be some private discussion with the attorneys that are present. But tonight, many of those attorneys will put their information in the chat room so that you will be able to reach out and speak to them more privately if that need arises. So we want everybody to partake in that. We always begin, and again, we have a special presentation tonight, and we'll be introducing him shortly. But we always begin, we can't say enough about the value of the attorneys who contribute their time every month to make legal night happen.